chapter 3, we're describing relationships. What this is going to start with is how our data connects to one another. Okay, so we've got two types of variables. We first got a response variable, and then we also have our explanatory variable. Okay, so this, and this is how I remember it. See how it's got the X in it? The explanatory does? Guess where this guy goes to? Hey, you're clever. X-axis. That means that this is our, yep, another clever. All right. So if we're going back to algebra, which one's independent, which one's dependent? So this one is independent, and this one is dependent. Okay. So this helps us to predict. How about I spell that right? Predict the response variable. And this is really original. This one's just the outcome. All right. So let's see here. Oh, let's just make this. How about this? So this is my response variable. Okay. So what are some possible explanatory variables? Okay. Lifted. I can't. No. I can't lift that yet. Lifted, heavy. Actually, back in the old days, the draftsman, when you guys draw in the plans, draftsmen would get bad backs because they'd be hunched over. Yep, you got it. I'm not even going to try and spell that. Scoliosis. The way it sounds and the way that it connects up in here doesn't always work very well. So we'll let that one go. Okay. How about genetics? How about son beat the crap out of me? Mm-hmm. Because he's got to practice his jiu-jitsu, and that just, sometimes you feel like a yoga mat just being twisted around. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to pause the video, write down the data for everybody here, and we're actually, well, before we do that, we need to make sure we understand something. I'm making an assumption that I need to fix. Scatterplots. Let's talk about these guys real quick. You have 3 types, correct? Oh, okay. So maybe I should go over this. You have a positive. Do we use correlation or association here? Correlation. We have positive correlation. We have a negative correlation. And we have no correlation. All right. Now, what's so special about scatterplots? We're not there yet. But you're right. We'll be doing line of best fit. Actually, we'll be fixing that line of best fit into something that actually works, not just your best guess. All right. So there is this, if I go like this, that's a scatter plot, correct? What kind of correlation do you think that one is? Incorrect. You got 3 types. How do we know it's positive? Yep. And then something really original. And that one is negative correlation. Okay. And then, of course, the last one. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to pause it now that we know the 3 types of correlation. All right. So what our example is we're looking at the sprint time of a 40-yard sprint, which is in seconds, and then the long jump in inches, that's 171. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you that this is my response variable, and this is my explanatory variable. Now you have to be careful because sometimes what they'll do is they'll switch it on you and say that this is your explanatory variable and this is your response, okay? So you need to make sure you're paying attention to what they're telling you, which one's which, all right? Okay, so let's come over to here. We need to make a nice grid, and I don't want to burn my 15 minutes on this one. So what we've done is we've taken our data, the sprint times are X, response times are Y, and we matched it up. So 541, 171 is an ordered pair. So we plotted all our points. The only thing I'm missing is I need to come down here and label my axes. So this is sprint time in seconds. And then this would be the long jump in inches. So it looks like that, okay? So looking at this, what type of correlation do we have? We have a negative correlation, okay? Okay, we haven't talked about if it's strong or weak or anything like that, correct? So the only thing we've talked about is that it's a negative correlation. So all you can say right now is that it is a, okay, so we would say that there is a negative correlation between the explanatory variable sprint time to the response variable of long jump. Okay, so again, going back to what we talked about earlier in the trimester, did I say anything about why things there might be negative? Okay, we don't say our opinion. Well, it could be because the grass was wet, the sand was dirty, and they didn't want to get dirty. We don't make that assumption. We just say there's a negative correlation between this explanatory, and this response. That's all you ever say, okay? Okay. So let me pause it here. Okay, so we talked about is that list 1 is your explanatory, list 2 is response, correct? We also said, or I said, don't sort the values, okay? Like I showed you how to find your median, we're not going to sort them because if you do that, that's just going to be trash, okay? Now, what we've done is we've gone to stat, typed in our edit, and now we've gotten to this list here, right? So you're going to go to second stat plot, make sure your plot is on, right? And then you're going to hit enter. And then we want to use that first one that looks like just a scatter plot, okay? So then make sure that if you typed list 1 and your X is in list 1, Y is in list 2, then if you want to change the colors, you can change the colors. If you have the color one, I'm going to go with green. I think that magenta shows up better. So if I hit graph, wait a second, I don't have the thinking circle back here, so now I can go into my zoom, and I'm going to go to zoom 9 for the stat, and there is my scatter plot, and it's pretty close to what mine shows, okay? Okay.